For this video, I'd like to continue where we left off, graphing lines, but I'd like to jump to page 149. I think it looks like this. Let me just double check the page number. Yeah, 149. And we're going to give you equations in the general form, right? It's not going to be in y equals mx plus b form. We're not going to give you the slope or the y-intercept. We're going to just give you an equation that looks like this, and we're going to see if you can maybe rewrite this into slope-intercept form and then quickly identify the slope and the y-intercept to come up with your graph. So let's try to graph this in example 3a, this 3x plus y equals 3. Let's graph that, okay? So I'm going to open up some graph paper. And we have to first rewrite this equation into the slope-intercept form, right? That's y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b, right? That will help us quickly identify the slope and the y-intercept, right? The b is your y-intercept. So for this problem, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and that will leave me with y equals minus 3x plus 3. You could also write 3 minus 3x, but I'd like to keep this in the y equals mx plus b form, where my m is the negative 3 and my b equals 3. So I can quickly go to 3 on my graph. That's my b. And then my slope is negative 3, but we can write this as negative 3 over 1 or 3 over negative 1, either way. Okay, so if we write it as 3 over negative 1, that means we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. Okay, or we could go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. All right, and then we connect our dots. Let's see if I can do this okay. And there's my line. Okay, let's try one more. All right, so let's take a moment to tidy up your graph, and then we'll go to the next problem. So I've jumped to page 150, and I'd like to try a practice problem. Let's try, maybe we'll try number 11, okay? This 2x minus 3y equals negative 3, okay? Okay, so we're given 2x minus 3y equals negative 3. And again, we're going to try to rewrite this in slope-intercept form, right? Something like this, y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and I'm left with negative 3y equals minus 2x minus 3. Now to get y by itself, I'm going to divide everything by negative 3. Okay? So I'm left with y equals, now I have a negative over a negative. I'm just going to write that as a positive. Right? If you left it negative, negative, that's fine. And negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. Okay? So my m is 2 over 3, or negative 2 over negative 3, right? They both are the same. And b equals 1. So let's start out with the 1. I put my point here. And if I use the 2 over 3, I have to go up 1, 2 units and over 3. 1, 2, 3, right? But what if I wanted to use negative 2 over negative 3? I could go down 1, 2, and to the left 1, 2, 3, right? Either way, we should still get the same line. All right, so we pull out our line tool, and let's see. There we go. All right, so that's our graph, okay? When we go back to our book, the next thing I see is parallel lines. So the thing you need to know, and I'm going to actually use the typewriter tool for this, parallel lines have the same slope but different y-intercepts, or they have the same slope but different b. All right, so I just kind of wrote that right here. So let's take a look at some problems. So if you look on the next page, you'll see it says, write the equation of a line parallel to y equals negative 2x plus 1 that passes through the point negative 3, 4. All right, so let's take out our graph paper again. So the first thing I do is I write line 1. Right, so line 1 was given to us, and it looked like this. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. We need to find line 2, right? That's the parallel line. So what we know is parallel lines have the same slope. So I can write y equals mx plus b for line 1, but we already know the slope because parallel lines have the same slope. So I can write y equals negative 2x plus 1. Now, if you remember from the original problem, it says, but passes through the point negative 3 comma 4. Right, so negative 3 comma 4 is the point. So think of this as an x and a y. So I can replace my x and y with the values from that point. Right, so I'm using that negative 3 comma 4 to find, oh, and that should be a b, by the way. Right, we have y equals mx plus b. We don't know b. So we're going to try to solve for b. So you're left with 4 equals 6 plus b, minus 6 minus 6 minus 2 equals b. So if I know my b is negative 2, I can put a point here at negative 2. And I know my slope is negative 2, right? M equals negative 2, or negative 2 over 1, or 2 over negative 1. Any of those will work. So if I go to my point, my b, I can go up to 1, 2, and to the left 1, or I can go down to 1, 2, and to the right 1. And then I pull out my line tool, and there we go. Okay, that's how we graph or find the equation of a line that's parallel to an original line. And so remember, if this was line 1, oops, line 2 would be y equals negative 2x minus 2. Right, this was my line 2. Right, and line 1 was over here. Okay, so let's try one more of these. I think at the bottom of this page, yeah, let's take a look at number 17. Right, parallel to y equals 3x plus 1 that passes through the point negative 3 comma 4. So I want to solve this and then graph it. So I want to do it right here first. Okay, so we can think of this as line 1, and we need line 2. Right? And we know that line 2 is going to be y equals mx plus b. The m is going to be 3. So y equals 3x plus b, right? Because parallel lines have the same slope. Now, we were given an x and a y, so I can sub that in here, right? The y was 4, the x was negative 3, and we're solving for b. So I get 4 equals negative 9 plus b. If I add 9 to both sides, I'm left with 13 equals b. So the equation, or line 2, will be y equals 3x plus 13. Right, so that would be my parallel line, or line 2, right? Line 1 was given. This line 2 is parallel to line 1. And they don't ask us to graph this, but if we want to graph this, right, my m is 3 and my b equals 13. So I don't think my graph paper is big enough, but I would go to a point up here at 13 all the way at the top of my page, right, because that was my b. And then my slope was 3, which is the same as 3 over 1. So from this point, I'd have to go up 3 and over 1, or down 3 and over 1 to the left, and I can make my graph. Okay, so I think that should do it for this video. On the next page, there's a summary. I think you should definitely go through this summary. The answers are on the back of the book. This is a great way to practice. Thank you for watching.